A freaking miracle. I am beside myself.
I had a guy call me a couple days ago. Well, he messaged me on Facebook and he said, yo, I lost a rod. It's my favorite rod. Can you please get it back for me? I've been fishing for 50 plus years. I know everything. I was like, Gary, we can get your rod back, but do you know of any snags? Gary said, dude, I've been fishing 50 plus years. I know all the snags. So I said, Gary, we'll get you your rod back, but as collateral, we won't take any money. We need you to take us to your snags. So that brings us here. We got Gary picking us up 3 o'clock at the dock. That might be Gary. And we go from here. Is this Gary?
That would be me.
The infamous legend. Are you okay with being on YouTube?
No problem. Here we are.
There we are. Nice to meet you.
My pleasure.
Thanks for having us
Heard all
on.
about you, saw your YouTube videos.
That's good.
I'm impressed.
That's what we like to hear.
Sweet setup, man.
It's pretty deluxe.
But alright. It might not have moved, but that is, if there was current when it fell, yeah, it would kind of.
There wasn't that much.
Mission find Gary's pole is first on the agenda. We got first diver going in. We got one in the cabin. The swim deck is what we like to see here. Diver 2 in the water.
Alright, I'm popping in.
Okay, what are we at for depth right here? Okay, I'll hop out at 30. As long as we're all spread out in a line hitting it, everywhere from 35 to 25 feet. Welcome back underwater, and like always, thanks for tuning in. I will start off by saying that finding a fishing pole in a river this big, especially while free diving and not using scuba tanks, is a little harder than it looks. It's a lot of ground to cover, and we didn't have an exact location of where the rod is, just an approximate one. So we rode the current out, working in sections, and try to cover as much ground as we can. After we drifted past the approximate location of where Gary thought he lost his rod, we got back in the boat, went back upriver, and went to go do the drift all over again. And the game plan was basically to keep doing this until we found the rods. Oh yeah.
Oh, guess what? Is my buddy's rod, not mine.
Oh, 6.
We got another one in there.
Yes. That is my buddy's fishing rod.
So Damien found a rod, but it's actually his buddy's rod. So we have one more rod to go find.
Correct.
One rod down, one more to go.
No salmon on though.
No salmon. Flasher still mint.
And the bait that he used
Still got tuna in here.
still got tuna in it.
Chronic.
Little snack for later.
Unbelievable.
So after Damien found that first rod, the boys were buzzing, and we knew that that second rod had to be somewhere nearby because apparently him and his buddy lost it in the same area. So every dive we took after that, we were in high anticipation and hopes that we were going to find the rod. And surely enough, paging Damien's camera again. I don't know how he went 2 for 2 on this day, but it was pretty crazy. Surely enough, we found the exact rod he lost.
Unbelievable.
BGD. This guy is out of control today.
This guy is out of control.
More business you'll ever know what to do with. Too fucking unbelievable.
VGD, baby. So Damien with the 2 for 2 pulled out the second rod, and this is Gary's rod in itself. We found Gary's rod, and we found his buddy's rod that he lost a couple days apart.
He's a freaking miracle. I am beside myself. So, you know, we're talking about $300 a piece for these combos. So I'm sure Mr. Brophy will want to pay a nice little finder's fee, and I am for sure, because that's only fair. Now I'm going to take you out so you can find some snag stuff.
That's what we like to hear, Gary. Give me a little knuckle sandwich.
Yes, sir.
Damien has a special attraction with fishing poles. This guy finds more fishing poles than anyone else out of us. I am not lucky with the fishing poles.
I'm blown away. I am totally beside myself.
That's number 8, Guide Select Pro right there.
The man's got a knack for finding another man's rod.
Simple as sick, but it was right where you said it was, 28 feet.
That's one thing that wasn't helping me is the no watch. I was struggling, but I was just zigzagging the whole way down.
Well, we were all in the same line, so I moved inside, way inside.
Well, I was doing this.
Okay, the place we're going.
Gary is fired up. He's calling all his friends, telling them what just happened. Spot number 2, Gary said there's a snag here. The boys are dropping hot. 3 divers in the water. Big flasher come up.
It went from 9 foot to 40 in like 8 feet.
That's what we like to look for in a big snag. So we hopped into our first snag of the day, and honestly, this place had every potential to be super snaggy. Had the big rock pile coming up from the deep end to the shallow end, a bunch of logs and everything, but for some reason, just didn't have any gear on it. Not very eventful snag. Got 3 pieces of plastic. On to the next. Okay, I'm going in. Spot number 2, and this one right off the bat, we were seeing flashers. Still not as much as a spot like this can hold, but more than the previous one. And I think just because a lot of guys are aware of this rock pile and they see it coming, they prepare, they reel up their rods to avoid being snagged up on it. But typically, if this rock pile was in the middle of nowhere, it would collect a lot of gear. Plus, it had a bunch of logs and other stuff that's very snaggy and can create a serious problem. So I think just the fact that it was a little closer to shore and a lot of guys know about it, it's pretty easy to avoid. So we did our best. We just cleaned up what we can. We had 3 divers. We probably spent 20 minutes at the spot, and we basically cleaned every single thing up that was here. So, and at the end of the day, that's the beauty of it. Whether we find a giant snag or not, we're still leaving the river a better place with every single dive. Whether we come up with 200 flashers or 20 flashers, the river's still getting cleaned up. And sure, it is definitely addicting finding a monster snag and pulling it up. It does a lot better for the video. It feels a lot better for the boys. It's a lot more rewarding. But at the end of the day, the rivers are getting cleaned up, and we love doing it. So, I don't know. The boys are absolutely buzzing off this flasher game. So spot number 2 for the snags provided. About 11 flashers. Most of them are decent. And we're on to the next spot. This is our 3rd snag. Apparently this is the one that has 500 flashers on it.
There's a fishing line on it.
If you don't come up with at least 30 flashers, dive 1. We're getting out of here.
This is the most popular place to get hung up.
Yeah.
Have you fished here?
Yeah, I fish here.
Do a lot of boats come through here?
A lot of boats come here and get snagged on this because it's underwater.
First diver in. We're in the slough, so visibility is looking like straight chocolate milk. So we like to send Spiro King first to be our test dummy. Is it worse or better than the jetty yesterday?
Worse. Can't see my fins.
Can't see fins is not good.
Atrocious fins.
Those flashes look like they've been there for centuries. This is not good. These are not resellable under any condition.
Easy, Vlad. Easy.
Those look like they've been there for centuries.
That's actually funny how bad that is. I just found like
How's it look down there?
horrendous.
These flashes look horrendous too. A lot of triangles in here.
That's nuts.
It just keeps going. Why is there so much triangles? Okay. Oh my gosh, it just keeps going. This stuff's been down there for a while. This has to be probably one of the nastiest piles we've ever pulled out.
That's out of control. That's the craziest diving I've ever done right there. You can't see it's 6-inch viz.
It really is diving by braille. I didn't know I was at the bottom until I felt it with my hand.
Well, that's how Drano was.
I did get a piece of lead off the bottom, but it was sketchy.
We're seeing a snag, 29 feet of water. There it is. The boys are hopping in. We got Derek in and Damien gonna drop. A lot of guys trolling right now. Boys are going full cowboy. So this was a pretty crazy dive, and I'll explain. So after we left the slough, we went upriver again, and there was this one area where we marked this big, what looked like to be snag. And it took us about 20-30 minutes to find it. It took a couple drops until we were on top of it, and then we anchored up on it. And this is me taking drop number 1 on it. This is my first time getting eyes on it. I take a couple flashers with me, and I'm going up to the surface. The very next dive, I'm going down, and all of a sudden I'm like, wait. I thought my vision was getting blurry, and I thought I was about to black out for a second. I was like, what the heck is going on? Why did it get so dirty and mucky all of a sudden? And I'm seeing all these clouds underwater. So I take another drop, and I'm like, what just happened? Like, the viz, totally turned off. It went from seeing 10 feet to maybe 1 foot underwater. It was unlike anything any of us have experienced before.
Viz just turned off.
What?
That's crazy.
That last snag we just hit, we literally dove it, took a couple drops on it, found it, set anchor on it, and then within seconds the viz just turned it went from 10 feet to 1 foot. It was insane. It was just too dangerous to dive at this point. So monster snag. We found about 30 solid flashers off there, so we'll be back. So both rods are in the boat. How are you feeling right now?
I am blown away. Absolutely blown away. He found my buddy's rod first, Sean Brophy's rod. I thought that was a miracle. And then lo and behold, the next pass, bingo, he finds my rod with all the parts.
So Damien actually found both rods.
Yeah, Damien.
All three of us were in the water. D-Dog found the rods, and then we went, he showed us a couple more snags. We had the most awful snag we've ever pulled out in creation to this day. And then we also hit a bucket of 2-day-old flashers. So it's a win-win-win for everyone involved. Let's do it again.
Right on. Thank you.
All right, Gary.
Thank you, sir.
Pleasure doing business. Guys, we just got done diving. Got another big giveaway. This one needs some work, but we're giving away the whole thing. There's everything in here. Every flasher, cut plugs, a little bit, everything. We're gonna leave it all. We're not gonna deal with it. One of you guys, if you want to deal with this, clean it up, which they clean up real well. This is a ton of money. So you know where it is. Send me a video or picture when you get it, and we got another one coming up in a couple days.
No way, Bridger. No way, baby. Oh.
What the freak is up, guys? He said we couldn't do it again. We did. Look at us. Flasher